Now let me explain. The fundamentals of such performance are clearly rooted in the venerable healing magic of the ancients. I assure you. Central to this very old form of therapy is the idea that if you suffer from the underworld, you can only be cured in the underworld. Underworld. It is a homeopathic principle. The cure for a sickness is accomplished by dosing the patient with minute quantities of substances which in larger doses would actually create the very symptoms of the sickness. Such a cure for a sickness involves experiencing a little of the essence of sickness. What sickness? Huh? What sickness, I hear you say? Which underworld? Where? The initial symptoms have escalated into a monstrous plague. It does not require much imagination to locate the underworld within a scarred, butchered landscape. Industrial wasteland. Inhumane concrete hovels, resembling rabbit hutches stacked up on top of one another, created specifically for maximum capacity at minimum expenditure. Grotesque Judeo-Christian compassion, exposed in its truest form, directly reflected in the environment. Homes for the common people that have been consciously designed to perpetuate an ignorance clearly intended to be left to their own devices within controlled surroundings. Do you follow? Those individuals who are either insensitive or too weak-willed to command and control their immediate environments are collectively housed. Widespread mediocrity in its most terminal context, eliminating even the human dignity of a slave. I believe. You go to Sheffield. We'll go to Sheffield. Let's take a look around Sheffield. Take a good look. Drained, soulless, young men and women, drastically alienated from the natural order, overcompensating in puerile fantasy, debauchery games and various trivia, encouraged by consumerism. That which remains of the instinct unconsciously anticipates the absolute horror of mass annihilation. Vast and impersonal. Envisaging themselves so disgustingly humiliated by their own vulnerability, powerless to react on any defensive or significant basis. A collective nightmare of the day, you know the day, when looting, pillage, and screaming insanity reigns. A hideous prelude of pure terror concentrated within the boundaries of minutes, seconds. Man suffering the indignity of resembling panic-stricken battery chickens awaiting slaughter, pathetically running round in circles at random. Decisions determining the lives of billions made exclusively by microchips impregnated and programmed with the epitome of rational thought. You can imagine the irony of the dilemma. Listen to me well. Absolute conflict. Destruction and megadeath are logical and imperative assumptions. overpopulation at loggerheads with human compassion. The hygiene of conventional war obliterated by the escalation of technology, thus all reason made obsolete and redundant by the rationalist himself. Mass unemployment, also caused by rapid development of technology. Manpower no longer economically viable. Abandoned industrial areas claiming a greater surface area than farmland. Thus, only enough harvest produce to feed 1/8 of the existing population. Do you understand? Nations ideologically opposed to one another, dependent on each other for existence, import, export, mutually assured destruction, mad. Foreign policies based on the same principles evident in the period of time prior to the Second World War, now applied in this temporary stage of super technology. No, I think we'll both agree. I think we'll all agree that such extreme pressures of the decade seem to almost transform human awareness into a curse. Yet, we still find perspective within the primal performance that embodies such extremities, or should I say, sicknesses. I believe it is necessary to look beyond the face value of such seemingly horrific events. Extremities that we observe on a daily basis must be viewed as a link or a transition. One cannot bypass initiation. Thus the work of Killing Joke becomes considerably more coherent when seen in terms of a generator musically suggesting such a process. The effect is akin to that of a vortex. Fascinating. And ultimately, all-encompassing. Now I tell you, the penultimate objective of recent work has been to actually identify the precise forces behind such global trends and movements and incorporate them within the form and foundation of our music. In order to explain these forces with some degree of accuracy, it is necessary to expound on the origin and nature of these particular forces. The following excerpt is taken from a Cincinnati Journal of Ceremonial Magic, and I quote: "In the macrocosm, these forces are the elder gods. In the microcosm, they are the forgotten ones, constituting the dark aspects of the anti-universe and the human unconscious, respectively. Admittedly, there is certain danger inherent in contacting them, but there is sure disaster in neglecting to do so. The elder gods, let me explain, the elder gods dwell in the spaces between positive manifestation. That is, they exist between the possibility universes or in the interdimensional angles that separate our evolutionary time stream from the next. It's not so complicated. Their previous dealings with our planetary life force earned them an exile from these access to our space-time. Now, the problem is